I remember the people a lot. And I remember coming in and feeling very welcomed. We started with a choir that had always sung Bach chorales, and I was not a Bach chorale girl, so that was kind of exciting. I was pretty excited the first time I had the choir sing in the aisles of the church. And I remember that they said, "We're gonna what?" No, we sit over here. And I said, no, we're gonna go out in the aisles when it comes time for the anthem, and we're gonna surround the choir with our music. And I remember that being just a kind of an eye-opening experience for everyone. I think it was a blessing to be able to reach out to people that way. I think it was a blessing for people to see the choir amongst them instead of beside them. And so I think it opened a lot of doors. We did a lot of different things, and of course I always rearranged them every Sunday.
Nice.
Yeah, constantly rearranging the singing, so.
Do any of you have a memory of that, singing in the surround?
Yes.
Yeah?
From a non-singer, this is just one more of a continuing leadership of music that I enjoy. The only place I sing well is in my head, in the shower. That's it.
For those,
Yeah.
I really appreciated all of it, and every group, a different style.
Different style from everyone.
Yeah, just wonderful to build up the fire.
yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Yeah, Doug, you have a question?
I remember you said you had us move around every week so we didn't have the same voices.
Yes. Yeah, I do that a lot. I did it a lot back then. I still do it with my choirs. It's a physics thing where you move voices around so they're with compatible voices, and it allows you to sing better in tune. And it allows the tone to become a little bit, tone is my big thing, choral tone. I really want to make sure that it's, like butter.
Yes, like
Yeah.
butter. Like butter. Wonderful. Any other questions? Well, we're so glad that you're here, and the choir anthem, choir always sounds wonderful, but it was a different sound because a different leader. It's just amazing how just that, a change of a leader will bring different sound out of the choir. So thank you for sharing
Thank
your
you.
gift
Thank
with
you
us
for letting
today.
me come and
It was really
see you all again. It's nice to see you all.
Thank you, Kari. Thank you. Pastor Jane, I'm going to invite you forward. And I think you have some pictures, so maybe you can just tell us what we're looking at.
Sure. This is a picture of Mark and myself at my brother's wedding. This is my younger brother. His wife died about 6 years ago now, and he remarried about 3 years ago. And so from that wedding, there has been produced a nephew. I had 2 nieces by the same brother when I was here, and they were both born very close to when I came here. And now I have a nephew that is 2 years old. And he was born on my brother's birthday right when all the COVID stuff was starting. So we did make it out last summer to see him, and he is the apple of our eyes at this moment. So, yeah, I don't know how that one snuck in there. I didn't send that one. But I was married here 20 years ago now. We just celebrated our anniversary last week, and we were down in North Carolina for that. So it was nice to have a week to go down there and warm up a little bit and celebrate a lot. So that was nice. This is our house in Chambersburg, and we have lived there now this is the longest I have ever lived anywhere. Not only in one house, but in one town. And so we are at almost 8 years now. So that is our home there. And this is our church. I have to recognize it from that angle. And the church it's an interesting story. It is a church that we believe to be about 250 years old. We don't have the exact date of the start of the church because during the Civil War, they thought, let's put all of our church records into the county courthouse for safety's sake so that nothing would happen to them. The church was perfectly fine throughout the Civil War. The city of Chambersburg, right starting at our block, all the way north for about 8 blocks, was burned, including all of the church records. And no one kind of went back and wrote anything down to say when the start was. Now, what we do have that for some reason was not put in the archives and transported to the courthouse is a document from Benjamin Chambers, who was the founder of Chambersburg, And he gave us the deed for our land. And what it is, we are called a Rose Rent Church. And on one Sunday in June, there's 3 churches that are like this in town. On one Sunday in June, we are asked to pay one of his descendants the price of rent in a form of a rose, one rose, a single rose. So every June we do that along with 2 other churches, and that is our rose rent that we have paid for the last 250 years. And that's kind of a fun story. And it also is neat that Colonel Benjamin Chambers and Jane Chambers, I really think it's his wife that had more to do with his religion than anything else, but they donated that land to 3 different churches, and that was very important to them. So this is a picture from the front of the building. And, we have around 300 members, worship around 100. It's very older, much an older congregation. I am very excited. We get to have confirmation classes again, which, as you may remember, was one of my favorite things here, and I truly love doing that. And we haven't had them for about 3 years, and it had nothing to do with COVID. We have it, this year I have 1 student, and next year we're kind of grouping 3 grades together, and I think we could potentially have 8 students, and I am so thrilled to be able to teach a confirmation class with that many children again, so that'll be great. All right, these are just all kinds of different angles of the church, so it is what it is there.
Is the church building as old as the congregation, or would you know what the church building dates from?
The church building is, the older part is pre-Civil War.
Wow.
And so, these are the good old days. They didn't care too much about cemeteries, and so what they did to get an even pavement was they removed all the headstones from the cemetery and put them in the back of the church without any bodies, and just put them all back there. There are a few bodies back there, but if you look, the headstones are just real close, side by side, not enough room for bodies and caskets, and they paved over the cemetery, and that is where we have the lower level of the church now, and then the upper level is the sanctuary area. So, yes. I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
They found one of the kings of England under a parking lot.
No, we don't have any stories like that. So, yeah. But I very much enjoyed my time here. I thoroughly enjoyed working with the youth and the children. These are just more of, I guess when I told him to go to our website, he really went to our website to find all kinds of them here. But these are just more congregational pictures, and one of the lady just passed away. I'm having her funeral on Thursday. That's in that one picture I see there. So, this is my 25th ordination anniversary. So for those of you who are not aware, associates in ministry now have become deacons, and the order to become a deacon is now ordination. So I can claim 25 years, 26 years almost now of ordained ministry. So that's kind of neat. And this was at that time, we celebrated this last summer, and the congregation threw a little surprise party for us, and that was very nice of them to do. And that's in our fellowship hall there.
Yeah. So the question is the same to you. What prompted you to accept our invitation to spend one of your vacation Sundays with us?
I just love this place. I think this is a fantastic place that God has put many wonderful, wonderful people, and this congregation is blessed with leadership. It is the strongest leadership I have ever served at in a congregation as far as lay leadership goes, and it's amazing. It's really a wonderful spot to be.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.
What is one of your favorite memories from your time here?
You know, I knew this question in advance, and I have way too many to have an exact favorite. But one of them that I have is from our camping trips. Jim Berner talked me into going camping, and he said, I'm not this camping girl, I'm not the outside girl, whatever. And then he talked me into this trip, and he said, we'll take care of you. Okay? And the Schmelks were in on this too, and the Westcotts made this big stew that everybody brought different stuff, and you messed it all together and stirred it over the stove the first night, and Jim Berner roasted turkeys and all kinds of things out there. So it was delightful. We'd play Norwegian kickball, and we just had a lot of fun doing that. We'd have worship outdoors with all kinds of different things and different music, and we enjoyed it. Another memory that I have here is the wonderful music of which I did not participate. And the reason, as Andy Gates will tell you, if he remembers this, he really urged me to try, when Pastor Garner wasn't here, to sing the liturgy. And he encouraged me to try that. And I was so nervous. And I did it one Sunday when he wasn't there. And the next Sunday, when he wasn't going to be here, Andy said, "Would you mind if I just sing the liturgy this Sunday?" And I have never sung the liturgy again since. So that was my one time of trying music, and I'm really glad that that was not recorded for prosperity's sake. But yes, it really was. I remember church picnics. I remember a lot of the fellowship things we did. I remember the undertaking of this expansion. I remember being married here. Just lots and lots of good memories. Wow. And how, if you can imagine, on the Sunday of Easter, right after the Easter service, we took everything out of this place and put it downstairs in the old youth room, and that was the start of the renovation. Some of you are nodding your head, yes, we remember that hard day of labor. And it was, but we also brought it all back up on a glorious day of reopening it all.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes,
That's
yes.
wonderful. Questions for Pastor Jane? Yeah, Celia.
So, my memory may be foggy, but I think I was on council around that time. We gave you an assignment when you came on board, and I think we gave you a title coordinator of volunteers. Am I right, if you remember that? So, volunteers is always a challenge. And we thought, we have someone new, we'll put her on as coordinator. And that's how it worked. And I tell you, it worked, because you made calls. We had volunteers, I remember our
They
committees
did.
blossomed, and I think of you often and think, that's what we need. We need Jane and a coordinator of volunteers. Am I right? Do you remember that?
I made a lot of phone calls and recruited a lot of volunteers. I never remember getting a title, but probably I received that unofficially. I know people kind of hesitated answering their phones when they saw that it might be the church number, but
That's wonderful.
yes. But I always made a practice of never asking anyone to do anything on Sunday morning. And my reasoning behind that was, I want you to come to worship, and I don't want you to be afraid that I was going to bombard you with doing something. Now, you could talk to me about a message I left, but I still have that practice that I don't really want to talk the business of the church and the volunteers of the church at Sunday morning, because I want you to be here to worship God, and that's really the key part of what the church is all about. And I still hold to that practice pretty strongly. So, yeah.
Other questions?
I just have a comment. It's just wonderful to see you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Well, and I remember a lot of the children and the youth that were here at the time, and I know Kurt Westcott is on Facebook, so I see some of the things he posts, but I've also kept in touch with a few parents along the way. I keep asking questions, how's so-and-so and how's so-and-so, and it really is just delightful.
That's wonderful.
And you drop in. Sometimes you come in the summer and you walk in the door and I go, oh, what are you doing here?
Yeah, I've done that a couple of times, and it's fun to do that. My family is in Penn Yan, Mark's family is in Penn Yan, and so we go there, and we were blessed. Lori Nicholson officiated at the service for my mother-in-law. Her funeral was in January, and so that was the last time that we had been up to New York now. But Mark's brother still lives there, so you may still see me popping in every now and then. Yeah.
I may have met you there first before I met you even here, because I did an interim down there.
Okay.
I don't remember anymore when I was down there, but
At St. Paul.
yeah, at St. Paul's, yeah.
Yeah.
I loved this morning. One of the things that just stood out to me when you were doing the children's message is literally looking at the children of
of the children that I had.
that you had. I mean, that
Yes.
was a really wonderful,
Yes.
that's the gift of 25 years of ministry.
It is, and it's fun to come back and
To make those
see little
connections.
Blakely and,
Yeah.
put that all connection together again.
Yeah, wonderful. Other questions? Well, we are so grateful for both of your presence this morning. This has been a gift to us. It's a wonderful way for us to live our history, to make it be alive, to not just be, I mean, pictures and everything else is wonderful, but to actually have the connections with people is a real gift. So thank you for taking the time to be here today. We'll invite you just to linger and have